I'm yet to hear a good pick. Yep. Maybe this will be one. All right, what do you got? Number 3.
Memory overload.
Show me your eyes. Shakespeare knew that a good play was not enough. You had to get the audience into the theater, and then you had to grab their attention.
Do you have this on your list?
It's on one of my lists.
It's at the bottom.
I hate the things that you choose to be.
I hate the person you choose to be.
This is my number 2 worst.
Wow.
I hate this episode.
I thought this was a great one.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
No.
This is bad.
No way.
This is a fucking mess. It is, my second least favorite episode. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
It's bad.
The B story I could take or leave.
The A story is just as nonsensical.
No, I thought this was great. Yeah.
I don't know what I know. Okay, go into it. Into it. Memory over. We're gonna talk about 20 episodes today. Yeah, I'm resigning myself
we're not
now
because you have it on your bottom list, right? So this checks off too.
We're gonna talk about 19.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky me. All right, memory overload. Go to the A plot because the A plot and the B plot are completely opposite.
They're really
not.
are.
They're so different.
Yeah.
But they have one theme, and that theme is nonsense, and they're both very good at that. Yeah.
Right. The connection is very much like a season 1 connection, which is surprising that I like this one. In that the character connection is so thin.
Yep. So thin. Yeah.
So this starts off with we have a professor.
Yep.
And he is teaching a Shakespeare class for adults.
Introduction to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like a drunk.
He's an alcoholic.
He's like sipping from a flask.
He's like, while he's doing it.
And it's important to note, it's an adult class.
Yeah.
It's not like at a high school. Like it's at a high school, but it's like a night class.
Right. Yeah. One of his students, I'd say student, but she's like a grown woman, has the hots for him. Like she's enamored with him.
Yep.
Right. He loves Shakespeare. So does she. Right.
One of his students is this like cold-hearted woman.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to come up again.
Yeah. Her
Hold that thought.
Her friend does not like our professor character.
She has the colds for him.
Yeah. Anyway, so after the class is finished, we move to our professor's apartment.
Where we never are going to leave again for the rest of the episode. We're much like Interior Loft Later. Yeah. We are staying in this interior
not
forever.
Not entirely, but yeah, for the most part.
Pretty much.
Yeah. When all of a sudden he gets a knock at the door, and there is a young man. When he opens the door, it's Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler. Yeah. Kyle Chandler, probably the biggest cameo in this season. Yeah. Kyle Chandler, who, if you don't know him, he's in everything. Yeah. I would say his most notable role is the excellent TV show Friday Night Lights, where he played the coach, the central coach of that show. Did you ever watch Friday Night Lights?
I have not seen it, but I
don't know if you would like it or not. Yeah. It's maybe a little too teen sappy for you, but the sports drama is excellent. Yeah. It's in my collection. I own it. Yep. I absolutely love Friday Night Lights. I think it's like the perfect.
Eventually, I will catch up to it. Once you stop feeding me crap to watch for this damn show, I will eventually have time to watch.
Mark, you're gonna be dead before that happens. Let's be honest. I'll have replaced you with like another younger model,
some other sap,
just some like
sucker,
some like hot babe.
Do that. Do that.
I would love to do that.
I would watch that in the afterlife.
If there is a hot babe watching, for whatever reason, watching these two ghastly figures on screen, and you would like to be a member of the top tier,
right? The quality,
the top echelon of podcasting, the Slash Cinema crew, reach out.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the plot. So Kyle Chandler shows up. It's a young Kyle Chandler too.
Yeah, he's also in Wolf of Wall Street. For anybody who hasn't seen the Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, he's the
agent.
main antagonist in Wolf of Wall Street. Other than debatably Greed.
Yeah,
that's the real.
That's the real antagonist.
Anyways, Kyle Chandler. It's funny to see him though because he's playing everything you will see Kyle Chandler in. He is a dad. He is a figure of authority. He's a coach.
Not in
I've
this.
never seen him as a boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's playing like a teenager. He's a struggling former student of the drunk, and he's come for help.
Yes.
Because
So he was in the army, but he has gone absent without leave.
yeah,
right?
he
left.
He's a deserter.
He deserted. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, what war would this have been? That was my first thought. I'm like, what war is this?
For an episode in 1989.
What year's the Gulf War? Isn't that 90s?
Yeah, it would have been after that. Nothing. Like, maybe.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. I just wanted that to be.
Well, I mean, it's fair because
he just deserted the military. It's not necessarily that he deserted a war.
And maybe he did, but we will find out later why maybe it makes a bit more sense, right? But you're right. In the context of what we know at this point, our Kyle Chandler character has left the military. Chuck, he has left the military.
Yeah.
Seemingly from a post where he was in combat, and the army is now looking for him. And he has gone to his professor to basically provide him a place to go, a safe place where he can hide.
Right.
Right. And he's erratic. He's obviously because people are looking for him, and he doesn't know where else to go. And this is the only person that he can think of. Right. And his professor friend takes him in. Right. And kind of gives him a couch to sleep on. Right.
He gives him like, what's that called? He's like, not shelter, but he's like harboring him kind of idea. Yeah. He's allowing him to stay. I mean, I guess he's not technically not a fugitive. I guess it's not illegal to desert the military.
It is.
Oh, is it actually?
Yeah. You can't do it. Like
What do you mean you can't do it?
The military is not like a civilian crime or a job where you can just leave. Like no. It's when they find him, they're going to charge him. Like,
what would the charge be though?
Desertion, like AWOL.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but so how do you leave?
Well, think about it, because if every soldier just decided they didn't want to fight in a war anymore, they would just walk away. No. If you're in, you're in. Like you can release, but you have to. There's a process for releasing. You certainly can't just decide one day that you're. That's right. Yeah. So when the army, they're not just looking for him because they're like, oh, one of our members has decided to leave. We should go and find him. No. They're going to grab him and bring him back kicking and screaming. And when he gets there, he's going to be court-martialed. Like, yeah, it's a military crime to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't the military sound so fun, folks?
It's a good time. Yeah.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait to enlist, Mark.
He's in serious trouble.
Danny, please. Don't worry. I won't let them hang you. But only because hanging is too good for you. Shoot him in the knees! No!
Cool. All right.
So anyway, so the professor decides to help hide Chuck. Then Chuck starts having similar dreams, but now they take place in the professor's apartment. So he's having like flashbacks, right? Our two characters, our professor and Chuck, their lives almost start to swap over. Right. So our alcoholic professor stops drinking. Right. He's getting up in the morning. Right. He's delivering his class with a little bit more
zest.
Yeah. He's not so depressed and like the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
But then Kyle Chandler's doing the exact opposite.
Chuck, he's starting to sleep late and he's starting to drink. You know, he found the professor's liquor cabinet.
Yeah.
Right.
Their personalities swap.
Right. They're starting to kind of become the other for some reason. Right. Then Chuck's army father does come to the apartment and the professor gives him up, right? Then his army dad shoots him only to have him disappear.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. I love when things that you're watching make no sense.
That's when we realize, and this is like the hook of the episode, I think, right? That the professor is Chuck and he's talking to his own father who is long since dead. We realize that all of this time, the professor, Charles, has been feeling guilty about the fact that he deserted the military when he was younger. And he's become an alcoholic. He has these sort of recurring thoughts because the guilt sort of racks him, right? So there is no Chuck.
Right, because in Freddy's Nightmares, it's always you.
Yeah, it's always you.
You are always the thing. They love doing this.
Right.
And
I thought this episode utilized the dreams well because they're actually his he's having flashbacks and he's
But
the
then
guilty
what is
feeling.
all the shit about like was he hallucinating?
Yeah,
Like
well, he's
when the
an
guy
alcoholic
was
too,
there
right,
and
Yeah.
it's such a mess.
Yeah.
And
Chuck,
then the ending. Oh,
Chuck wakes up. He realizes he's still an alcoholic, and he's just he kind of relives this over and over. And that was one of the.
I hate that ending.
Oh, I love that
so
part.
it ends with like, it ends, and then he's just like a drunk, and he's like, oh, that wasn't a dream, and then it just loops.
Professor Winton, it's me, Chuck. Chuck.
Chuck! I didn't recognize you. Come in.
Professor, I need your help.
What is it? Are you in trouble?
And then there's a knock
There's
on the
another
door.
knock on the door.
And it's what was the kid's name? Charlie?
Chuck.
Whatever. Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler, yeah.
Chandler's there again. And it just loops, and we're going through the same thing. He's like, Fredster, you gotta hide me. And I'm like, what am I watching? What is this?
No, the real kicker is that in the bumper, Freddy says he has to relive that 10,000 times or until he dies.
Here, I'm the head of the class, and the professor is a dunce. His punishment? He has to relive that 10,000 times, or until he dies, whichever comes first.
So again, similar to like the coma, the idea that this character is now locked into this nightmarish repeating. He's never going to be able to get out of it until it either kills him or he continues to sort of just the psychological manipulation going on with this. I thought that I loved it.
But it's so boring to watch because it's just nothing. It's just Kyle Chandler being like, Professor, you gotta hide me. You don't understand. I can't go back. I won't survive. And then the professor being like, don't worry. It's gonna be okay, Kyle Chandler. We're gonna take care of you. Yep. And then he's like, and then for some reason Kyle Chandler starts acting like a drunk, and he's like, I'm like, fuck all of you. Yep. I hate watching this. It's so boring to watch. And then it's like, and then the kicker's like, well, we could make you watch it 10,000 more times, but you get the
Well,
point.
we won't.
Yeah. No, it's just a wet fart.
No,
and we never leave that apartment.
I thought it was the narrative was interesting. The twist at the end was unexpected, but also not like they do kind of reference it, right? The idea that, the guilt that this kid feels, it's him, right? He kind of sees himself and he's having this debate. It's not Chuck's father, it's his father. The
real question we all want to know is, Mark, this obviously happened to you.
I lived this.
Your military father.
This is not water. This is
That's how Mark gets through every one of these episodes. Right. Although in your case, it would be like, I'm forcing you to endlessly watch
That's
shit
right.
you don't want to watch.
Yeah. And it feels like it's happening 10,000 times.
Yeah, where I just knock on your door and I'm like, hey, buddy, I got another series. And you're like,
he legitimately has the next DVDs ready for the next one we're doing. So yeah,
I literally prepped them. Yeah. Well, this time we're gonna try to do a little bit better and give you an episode a little bit quicker this time.
Right.
We took a big break.
I'm hoping it's not going to be as painful as this one. So,
I mean, it's gonna be. I think it'll be an easier watch. Get to the B plot because man, the B plot sucks shit.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it.
I do.
Yeah, you can take this one if you want.
Oh, please!
Because,
I would love to.
It is not on the strength of the B plot that I have this one ranked. It was the A plot.
So the B plot again. This is your third top?
This is my number 3.
Oh god. Yeah. The B plot. It follows the bitchy girl from the professor's class.
One of the students from the professor's class.
And it just does its own thing. That's it. That's the only connection. You're just following this woman. And it opens with like a narration from a computer. Right. And we're doing a dragnet
style, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
This is the city, Springwood. It was 9:01 a.m. I was working security beat at Computer Credit headquarters. I carry a 30 meg hard drive and a full complement of RAM. I know, I'm a computer. I was interfacing with a cute little Mac next door when I got the call. It was a hot tip from one F. Kruger.
Why? It's so lame. I I was in this building and I'm a computer and I'm going to give you the narration. And that's the voice.
Yeah.
And that's it. And
1:03 p.m. We're in the, that kind of.
but it's the computer talking.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the computer talking.
Computers.
No, this is the one computer.
Yeah.
This is the one computer talking. The one computer that the girl has is her terminal. So the girl, this cold-hearted woman, she works at a credit bureau.
Yep.
How appropriate. That makes sense. And it shows that she abuses her powers because like she helps her mother's credit rating. Meanwhile, like there's all like these good, people that show up that their credit got fucked because of basically mistakes the bureau made.
Right.
And then she's just like, yeah, well, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Can't help you. Can't do nothing about it. Which you just want to strangle this woman. So
Right.
it's like, please, Freddy, show up and murder her.
Yeah.
Please, Freddy.
She clearly has the ability to make changes because she makes changes for people that she wants to.
Well, we're
Yep.
getting to that.
Yep.
So then she meets like there's this charming, handsome guy that shows up and she instantly hits it off with him. And it cuts to them like, it's like, he schmoozes her and then it just instantly cuts and they're like at a fancy restaurant making out.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know these episodes, it's like they only have 22 minutes to work with when it's like one of the A or B plots. So it's like they kind of got to move a little faster. But oh, fuck, does this one move quick? So then she's like swooning over this guy and she's like bragging to her coworkers about like, oh, I met this hunky guy and he's the one. And then they have another date and he stands her up. She gets stood up for the date. So then she goes back to the credit bureau and she's like, oh, I'm going to teach him a lesson and I'm going to destroy his credit rating. So she maliciously destroys his credit rating. But then he shows up and apologizes. He's like, I'm really sorry. There was a family emergency and this is before cell phone technology existed. So I didn't have the ability to just shoot you a text. I mean, this is literally the reason.
Yeah.
But and so she's like, I'm really sorry. Can we make it up? And she's like,
Uh-oh.
no, obviously she's like, uh-oh, I did a terrible thing. And then she's like, yeah, I destroyed your credit rating because I thought you were a piece of shit and I'm a piece of shit. And then he obviously storms off and angrily. And then she's feeling guilty. And then the computer starts talking to her and it's like putting messages on the screen. And it's like, we can fix this. And then she gets teleported into the computer and then she's in the computer and she's like, she's interacting with the software of the computer. But like when she's interacting with them, they're like the software.
Right.
If it sounds like I'm struggling to explain it, I'm struggling to explain this. So the computer's self-aware. And in the computer, the computer acts like the software itself interacts with her as people.
What kind of people are you? We aren't people. We're numbers in a computer. Please make her stop. She's killing me.
I would like to, but she's programmed that way. However, if you can wait 3 months.
And the whole idea is like, she's trying to go into the computer to erase what she did to this guy's file.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the credit bureau, if you make any alterations, there's a record of it and you can get in serious trouble, like maybe even criminal trouble for manipulating that shit. Which I find weird because they say at the beginning of the episode, it's like, well, your bureau made this mistake, just undo it. So it's like the credit bureau's, you're allowed to fuck up somebody's rating, but you're not allowed to try to undo a mistake.
Yeah, I got the sense that she just doesn't want to. She has no interest.
No,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's stakes at the end.
Yeah.
Because so what ends up happening is like the computer is for some reason trying to like the computer is against this woman.
Oh, I got it. I just so she goes in when she does these changes. She's signing in under her assistant's name, right? And what happens is she realizes that when she made the last change, Millie, her assistant, calls in sick. And so she was not going to be there on the day to make the change that she made, right? And she realizes that she's like, uh-oh, I've got to go in and undo that so that it doesn't record that that Millie made the change. The problem is that our character, Barbara, she does not understand or know the systems well enough to be able to do this, right? She, right at the beginning of the story, she makes a comment like, I have you to do that. And Millie's like, you really should learn how these systems work, right? And now it's coming back to bite her in the ass because she doesn't know how to go in and manipulate the system and make the undo the thing that she's done.
And in her defense, I don't know that any person would know when you get teleported into a computer how you're supposed to interact with a computer to make it do the thing you want it to do. I think we would all struggle with that, Mark. I don't know that's a very fair criticism to make of poor Barbara. So like, but the computer is like trying to get her as well for some reason. The computer baits her and is like, come into me and erase the file you need. And then she goes in and she does that, and then it cuts, and it's like now she's not in the computer, and she's just smashing the computer, and then the police come and arrest her.
Yep.
So there was some consequence to this. It sucks. It all sucks. And then let's get to the twist, which makes even less sense. So then the twist is the lover boy was actually a plant, and her assistant Millie, I didn't even know her name, wanted Barbara's job. So she asks her hunky brother to seduce Barbara, but then like let's run through this. Their plan was to have the guy seduce Barbara, but then do something shitty to Barbara, knowing that it was to bait her, knowing that Barbara is an awful person. She's probably then going to try to fuck with his credit rating, but then make up with Barbara, because then she's going to try to undo it and we'll catch her in the act, and then she'll get fired, and then I'll get her job.
And that's what happens. So it works.
Oh, please.
Yeah, again, this is one of those examples, and you got to understand, folks, like when you're looking at these, it's a tough debate, because do you grade the episode on both the A and the B story? Can you like one?
Yeah, the answer is you kind of do. So you kind of have to.
Yeah.
So with Silence is Golden, it was my number 5. It was my number 5 because I like the A plot, but the B plot sucks so hard that it's like I got to put it back.
Right.
You know.
I don't know.
It is one of those things.
I got to the point where I'm like, if both stories have to hold the water, then none of them are going to get picked. So sometimes I've got to have some that I'm like, okay, the one story is good, the other story not so much. I will give the whole episode the benefit of the doubt. And
my number 1 might be the exception to the rule. Although you haven't liked any. We haven't had a single crossover yet of the same
on the same side.
On the same side.
Yep.
I don't think that we're going to. Nope. We seem to be I don't understand some of your picks. Going back to this fucking episode, this is what I consider to be one of the best examples of both the A and B plot are what I will call plots, where you are going to constantly be asking, what is happening? I don't know what is happening. Kyle Chandler, what is going on with you and your professor? You're the same person. You're not the same person. Are you awake? Are you not awake? Is this actually happening? I don't know. Second plot, Barbara, are you actually in the computer? Or are you just imagining this? Is the computer actually sentient?
I think she wakes up from a dream and realizes it was all just,
Does she?
I think so.
Because the other issue is the whole like the dragnet thing. The computer fucking like narrating. I don't need this. And it ends with the computer being like, we got our person. Dun, 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 dun.
It was 10:22 p.m. The city was quiet. I still had time to find that cute little Mac and show her my hard drive.
There's a lesson here, kiddies. When you hire somebody, make sure they're at least as dumb as you are. In your case, punks, that probably means brain dead. I cracked myself up.
Dragnet?
Yep.
Dragnet? Come on. Did Mark Skews write this episode? Yeah. Like, what else are we going to reference?
I couldn't write as well as this. Yeah.
Oh, it was too good. Are we going to reference like Night Court next? Like, please.
Hey, you love Night Court.
By the way, fuck you to the people that encouraged this fucker and his goddamn Night Court rendition. I finally listened to the Night Court theme. I don't know that you were anywhere near what it sounded like.
I think our viewers, they just know that maybe I'm the one that's a little bit more connected. You know what? They appreciate what I bring to this show. So you know what I'm going to say? No, you can't replace me with a younger, hotter female version. No, you need me.
Yeah. Buddy, you're the B plot to this
That's
podcast.
right. Yeah.
I am the A plot that sets it up, and you're the B plot that makes everybody go, what?
That makes you question whether you like the A plot.
Like the show in general. I don't even know that I like this episode. Yeah. Well, hopefully this episode will be slightly more popular than our worst viewed episode, Freddy's Never Season 1. Which I thought for sure more people would watch just out of morbid curiosity. Because who knows what it even is, you know? You said that I don't like the limitation of the A plot and B plot needing to have some connection. This is one where they needed a little bit more.
Could have been a bit more, yeah.
Because it's like they're so opposite. They're polar opposites. It's like the A plot, we got this drunk professor dealing with his inner demons. And the B plot, we got this evil credit bureau woman who's going into a computer.
Yep.
They're so disjointed, like to the point where they almost feel like they're from two different shows.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's a little too, out there.
No, I would agree with you on that. Yep.
Yeah. I think I'll let it go. I don't know that I have any other things
I've got
to
nothing
dunk on. I mean, I went over the twist. They needed to connect better. They both drag. They both suck. I think I covered everything.
No. They still both suck.
Yeah.
Those things can both be true at the same time.